You know the name, Benedict Arnold, the guy so synonymous with betrayal. His name sounds like a medieval curse. You dare cross me, you filthy Arnold? But what if that name, instead of becoming the historical equivalent of unsubscribe, actually stood for something heroic? Like, this guy just saved the Republic, he pulled a full-on Benedict. So let's roll the dice on history and slide into a world where Arnold stays loyal. No betrayal, no cloak and dagger deals with the British. Just 100% red, white, and blue firepower. It all starts with a letter, or maybe a conversation, or heck, maybe Washington just pats him on the back one day and says, "Benny, you're doing great." Because here's the thing, Arnold wasn't a villain at first. He was a war machine, a savage tactician. The dude helped capture Fort Ticonderoga, fought like a lunatic in the Battle of Saratoga, and practically limped across every battlefield with bullets in his legs and vengeance in his eyes. But Congress? Oh no. They looked at this man who bled for freedom and said, "Cool story, bro. No promotion for you. Also, we think you're stealing stuff." That's like watching someone carry your team to victory and then benching them for being too sweaty. So in our timeline, Arnold says, "Screw this," and flips to Team Britain. But in this other timeline, the one you and I are stepping into, he doesn't. And you have to wonder, what if Arnold's betrayal isn't a personal flaw, but a glitch in the system? What if all it took to change the world was for one, whatever the reason, he stays. And because of that, the entire war shifts. Start with West Point, the literal heartbeat of the American defense line on the Hudson. In our world, Arnold was this close to handing it over to the Redcoats, but in this alternate reality, he fortifies it, reinforces it with extra cannons, spikes the river with traps, and turns it into a fortress so impenetrable, even Mordor would be jealous. When the British come sniffing around, expecting a smooth handover, they walk straight into a buzzsaw. The plan fails. British morale tanks. American morale shoots through the roof. George Washington hugs a tree out of relief. Now imagine Yorktown. In our reality, that siege took time, precision, and the entire weight of the Franco-American alliance. But with Arnold still wearing the Continental uniform, things heat up faster. He's not just fighting, he's hunting. Arnold leads a guerrilla task force that slices through British supply lines like hot knives through colonial butter. His strategies are unorthodox. He sends phantom battalions on night raids, burns British camps under moonlight, and becomes the kind of war hero even Hollywood wouldn't believe. Cornwallis? He doesn't just surrender, he begs. Yorktown ends a year early, with fireworks, fanfare, and Benedict Arnold standing next to Washington, not across the battlefield, but beside him, maybe even stealing the spotlight. And here's where things get wild. Post-war America needs heroes. Washington retires. Everyone expects Jefferson or Adams to take the reins. But who walks into the chamber, scarred, limping, wearing a medal shaped like a cannonball? President Benedict Arnold. No scandal, no exile. Just a man who rewrote history by not committing treason. Suddenly, school kids grow up admiring Arnold. Statues of him pop up in Boston, Philadelphia, and probably Las Vegas for some reason. Benedict Day becomes a national holiday. Middle schoolers dress as him in class plays, awkward limp and all. The phrase "pulling an Arnold" turns into slang for doing something ridiculously brave. Wait, we're just getting warmed up. Because Arnold's loyalty sends ripple effects through time. America's early military doctrine becomes shaped around offense rather than defense, thanks to Arnold's aggressive tactics. Future generals cite him in textbooks. The U.S. builds a military identity not just as defenders of liberty, but as architects of strategy. And what happens to Britain? Well, losing the war earlier and more humiliatingly means King George gets more than a bad haircut. He gets pressure. Revolts flare up in Ireland earlier. The colonies in the Caribbean start side-eyeing revolution. The British Empire begins to bleed from 1,000 paper cuts, decades before it actually does in our timeline. Oh, and France? They just watched America win even faster, thanks to a man with an itchy trigger finger and a chip on his shoulder. The French Revolution doesn't just happen, it explodes. Even more radical, more chaotic, and maybe earlier, the guillotines don't wait for 1789. They start sharpening in 1785. This isn't just a what if, it's a full-on cinematic, revolutionary remix where the dominoes fall in every direction. Military, political, cultural. And you have to wonder, what if Arnold's betrayal wasn't a personal flaw, but a glitch in the system? What if all it took to change the world was for one man to feel a little more appreciated? So now I leave it to you. Was this world better, or way too unstable to handle? Would a loyal Benedict Arnold make America stronger, or just different? And if you made it this far, here's your next question. What if the American Revolution failed completely? Or what if the Confederacy had won the Civil War with foreign help? Or hear me out. What if George Washington ran for a third term and never stepped down? Comment below like if you pulled an Arnold today, and I'll see you in the next alternate universe.